Hello. Today, I'm going to talk about arithmetic sequences and series. So a sequence is just a list of numbers that has a relationship. So for instance, we have a beginning term. So if a sub 1 is 5, and then we need to know what our common difference is. And so that's what we're counting by. So if d is 2, then my list of numbers is going to be 5, 7, 9, 11, 13, and so on. We're just adding 2 each time to get the next number. It's arithmetic, so we're adding. D could be negative, so we could be subtracting. But arithmetic just means that we're adding or subtracting a number, and that number is the common difference. And we got to know where we're starting from. So we can find any term in the sequence, a sub n, using this formula. A series is the sum of the sequence. So if we added up all the numbers in this sequence above this, then we would get the series. So we call that S sub n, because obviously if we're adding up a list of numbers, we have to have a finite number. So how many do we want? And then we plug this in this formula. N divided by 2 times a sub 1 plus a sub n. So let me work a few problems from this section. Those are the two formulas we need for this section. Find the next 4 terms in this arithmetic sequence. So 6, 11, 16, and then dot, dot, dot. I need to find the next. And so really what I need to know is I need to know what my first term is. My first term is 6. And I need to know what my common difference is. What am I adding or subtracting each time? So 6 plus 5 is 11. And 11 plus 5 is 16. So that's my common difference. So really, I can use this formula over here. So the next term, a sub 4, is going to be the first term, 6, plus it's the fourth term, plug in a 4, and d is 5. So 6 plus 3 times 5 is 15, is 21. And we can use this formula, or we can just keep adding 5. So we're going to have 21, and then plus 5 is 26, and then plus 5 is 31, and then plus 5 is 36. It makes more sense to just add 5 each time here. This formula is really more useful when I want to find like a term way down the line. Like, what is the 100th term? I don't want to sit here and add 5 over and over again 99 times. So I'm going to use this formula. Let's look at the next problem. Find the 13th term, okay? Where my first term is 3, so a sub 1 is 3, and my common difference is 3, okay? So those are both 3. So here's where I would want to use this formula, or I could just add 3 until I got to the 13th term. But it's so much easier to just plug it in. So a sub 13, I want the 13th term. A sub 1 is 3. I plug that in there. N is 13, because I want the 13th term. And I plug in 3 for D, because that was my common difference. And then I just do the arithmetic and simplify. Okay, here we go. Find the sum of the first 21 terms in this sequence. So here's my sum formula over here. It's got an S in it. That's sum. So the sum of the first 21 terms, I plug in 21 for n, is 21 divided by 2. A sub 1, that's my first term, is 5. But a sub 21, I don't know. Okay? So I'm going to have to use this formula to find the 21st term. So just like the last problem, I want the 21st term, so I plug in 21 for n. A sub 1 is 5, n is 21, and my common difference, I've got to go back up here and look at my sequence to decide what the difference is. I'm adding 4, I'm adding 4, I'm adding 4, I'm adding 4. So D is 4. I plug this in and I get 85. So 85 is what I'm going to plug in here. And then again, I just got to do this arithmetic. So 21 divided by 2 times 90. And then I need to finish this up or put it in the calculator, and I get 945. Okay. Okay. Find n. Okay, so now I'm finding n for the sequence where a sub n is 37, a sub 1 is negative 13, and d is 5. So I'm given the nth term. So this is the formula for the nth term. So I plug it in. A sub n is 37, a sub 1 is negative 13, d is 5, and n is what I don't know. And then it's just an algebra problem. Down here, I just bring everything down. 5 times n is 5n. 5 times negative 1 is minus 5. In this step, I added the negative 5 and the negative 13 to give me negative 18. Then I added 18 to both sides and divided by 5. Okay, so just got to use the formula and then use basic algebra. Okay, form a sequence that has two arithmetic means between these two numbers. So all that means in my sequence is that, between negative 13 and 89, there are two terms. So I drew that with big blanks in them. So I know a sub 1. This first missing term is a sub 2. Then I have another missing term, a sub 3. And so 89 is a sub 4. So then I'm going to use my a sub n formula to plug in 89 to figure out what d is. So a sub 4 is 89 equals a sub 1. A sub 1 is negative 13 plus n minus 1. This is the fourth term. So I plug in 4 for n. And what I don't know is d. So what I did to get to this step is 4 minus 1 obviously is 3d. And I added 13 to both sides. And then I divided by 3 to get the d is 34. And then I find the two missing terms by adding 34. Negative 13 plus 34 is 21. So this one's 21. And then I add 34 again, and I get 55. And then just to check and make sure that I got the correct d and didn't mess this up, I added 34 again to get 89, and that is in fact 89. So there's my answer, C. Okay, so let's do a word problem. We had this brick problem. We're building a brick patio that's in the shape of a trapezoid. The shorter base has 5 bricks in it. So this row right here has 5 bricks in it. Each row after that increases by 2 bricks on each side. So I'm not going to add 2, I'm going to add 4. There's 2 more bricks on this side, and there's 2 more bricks on this side. So I added 4, giving me 9, and the next row would have 13, and so on. But I could make a list of all these numbers and then add them together, but then I would have 25 numbers, and I'd rather not do that. So what I know is that my first row, a sub 1 is 5, d is 4, my common difference, I'm adding 4 each time, and I have 25 rows. So what I want is the sum. What is the total number of bricks? So I'm going to use this formula to find the sum. And so if I go through here before I start to see what I need to know, I know what n is 25. I know what a sub 1 is, it's 5, but I don't know this. So I've got to find a sub 25. And so that's what I did first here. A sub 25, and again, I used my a sub n formula, is 5 plus, this is the 25th term, so 25 minus 1 is 24, times my common difference, d is 4, plugged in the calculator, I got 101. And then that was the only thing that was missing, and so I wrote out this formula, and again, calculator, 1325. Okay, so that's it for arithmetic sequences and series. Again, it's just formulas. You got to use the formulas. You got to know the formulas, write them down, and then the rest of it is all algebra stuff. Thank you. Email me if you have questions.